Outnumbered, I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-host Harris Faulkner and Emily Compagno. Also joining us, Ainsley Earnhardt, co-host of Fox and Friends, and Marcus Lemonis. And we will get to that in just a moment. But Emily, let's start here. Donna went on to say, her exact words, this is very atypical. This crime was September, a preliminary hearing in May. I mean, that is close to the year mark.
Court has to consider the interests of the victim in a speedy resolution under the same standards that govern a defendant's right to a speedy trial. And it also highlights and underscores that the victim is entitled to a speedy resolution free from unwarranted with discovery. You know what? Get it to 100 and get it to 100 now. Because at the end of the day, who it hurts the most is not the defendant. It is the victims that have to suffer in silence and wait day by day for a conclusion that they wish would happen in the speedy and with the gravity of which the defendant is afforded in so many more of these trials.
So let's look at those two cross-cutting interests. You have the same as Charlie Kirk's two children who will have to watch this play out for quite some time if Tyler Robinson has his way.
Well, and I think justice is hurt by this in some ways, too. We saw with the Brian Kohberger case where it helps their case. I always say deals cool with time. And whether it's a legal deal, it's a financial transaction or whatever it is, the longer it takes beyond what is expected to get to the facts. If there are delay, I like this law in Utah for that very reason. It doesn't serve justice more to drag it on. In fact, it could be the opposite.
Indeed. And, you know, Ainsley, this conflict of interest.
And you and Emily are attorneys. Y'all probably, if you were a judge, you could easily just read the findings and say, you know what, this is not enough. Eat up. This is not fair to the American public, not fair to the victims' families, and it costs us all a lot of money.
Yeah, and it plays out in public, you know, Marcus. And then there's the DNA evidence, too. And I suspect he'll plead not guilty and try to get to a plea of some sort if he's able to or is given that offer. But there's DNA evidence. To Ainsley's point, it's not just DNA, it's a ton, the text.
I want to remove the law for a second. If you polled Americans, and Emily said it, if you asked them to...
Because they will no doubt see how this plays out and see it as they grow. So they're in our prayers, the Kirks, today. All right, celebrities leading the...
15 score, because it seems to me that Megan Rapinoe only has this platform, the celebrity status from which she's lecturing us about something that she got to enjoy differently. She only got the U.S. gold twice because she never had to compete against a biological male like all of our daughters do. So who is she to tell us that that indeed is fair?
Right, several things. That happened. Her name is Peyton McNabb. She has a movie called Kill Shot, and some of the anchors on Fox are a part of that movie because we all had conversations about it. She was a volleyball player in North Carolina, struck in the head by the spiked ball that was hit by a trans athlete. And she said she was permanently injured by this athlete. She had bleeding on her brain and partial paralysis. So in that ad, it says we want to be free, we want freedom, we want to be who we are. Well, it's America. You can be. We need to make sure our children are safe and that this is fair.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because we all have the ability to use our platforms to deliver a message, and I think that's important.
Have ruled, like, this has been sort of decided. I mean, this hearing's winding its way up, but a lot in the courts, and we've referenced polls here. Voters
they're speaking to each other. Yeah, I mean, this is a very small group. I mean, I always like the NCAA as a good example, and the president who said, Charlie Barker, who said, I had. But I think I have enough experience as a woman, and I know an XX from an XY. So I think I get it. I know our bone structures are different. I know the physicality of men and women can be very vastly different. So I understand all of that. We can't change the science yet. They want us to change how we treat sports and how we live as women based on how they feel and how they want to identify. The show is called Outnumbered. They are outnumbered on this issue.
To address one thing, you said confuse people. It's manipulating. Confusing people is giving them lots of options and they're not sure. But when you use your celebrity and your platform to manipulate the information and the presentation of it, it's a totally different context for me.
Yeah, and I personally don't appreciate being lectured at by, again, people like Megan Rapinoe who have upheld when in reality they are erasing and extinguishing the civil liberties of our biological daughters.
Yeah, the ACLU, the far leftist organization that only seems to care about civil liberties that impact us, you make no sense, and that is why it's more than 69%. 80% of Americans are on the other side of this issue.
Oh, I think it's 90.
And 100% of dads.
By the way, that attorney, the attorney for the ACLU, you know, their argument is that they want the trans identification to be considered in the same way that race is. So they're arguing that it's an immutable characteristic deserving of the same scrutiny that race does before the Supreme Court. So I wonder if in that ACLU ad, if you were to say, let's pretend it's live in an interview, hey, Megan Rapinoe, hey, Naomi, oh, so it's the same as race, right? Then what would they say? Would they be so bold and audacious to continue the charade?
Well, race, you're born with your race. Are they saying that your sex, you're born
with? And I'm saying that in their face of like all about wokeness and flagging and like virtue signaling, that believe me, they would evaporate at any pressure.
It's immutable, except the very definition of gender fluidity is mutability.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
And you can't change. You can change a whole lot with surgery and drugs and all that. You can't change your chromosomes. But remember Hartnett. I think she part of that. Yeah, the attorney who was defending, I believe,
Olympic athlete. And she keeps saying, look, I was born a boy. I think that...
to go after this.
You do. And Biden laid the groundwork by using the FACE Act.
I think we still have that picture. If we pop up our montage, we'll find it pretty quickly. Posted, the world is watching, with a child in the pew.
Fighting with, in addition to being hateful and unconstitutional.
Pray a prayer of protection over that woman, too, because they're targeting everybody. There's brand new, like, different points of view. So this is new video of Marcus.
You mentioned employers. Oh, we're watching. I promise you we're watching. It's very simple for me. It's like
ago about manipulation. This is no longer free speech. This is the height of manipulation.
Well, Don Lemon seems to be at the spear of it, at the tip of the spear.
Every time, doing his thing.
Might be why he's doing this. It's going to get worse and worse. If they don't set an example here, this is going to happen every Sunday at all the churches in there.
Well,
in that city. It better not. But we have police officers in our church. I went to Times Square Church a few weeks ago. You walk through a metal detector. But that's where we are now. You know, that's how scary it is. In church, we even have to protect ourselves.
This country's been through this before. 1871, the Klan Act, and then civil rights as well when they were burning down churches.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to revisit this. This is a touch away from people being afraid to go to church. And this is America. You don't have to be afraid. The protesters, the rioters, the agitators need to fear the law. Because that arm is long.
And it's all places of worship. Right? It's all places of worship.
Absolutely.
All places of worship.
Airing the dirty laundry things.
First of all, it feels really inappropriate to air your family's business out. And if you're trying to
Opulent thing where he's saying, you know, I'm now joining the other tribe here.
because they have more money.
That's a great analogy, and I think that might be accurate.
Look, were about his new bride and how the family allegedly treated her. Like, Victoria was going to design a dress for her, and then last minute was like, I can't do it. And
On her wedding dress.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, I mean, got plane to wherever she is. I would drive throughout the night to get to her, and I would sit her down and we would work this out. I'd go to the in-laws' house. I'd find a way to just say, forgive me, I'm sorry, it's hard. I spent my whole life raising you, and now you're choosing another family. A lot of emotions are involved when your kids get married. So, gosh, I just hope it's just a sad situation.
Yes.
Now, this morning, David Beckham went on Squawk Box on CNBC. So I want to play that out for you because he talks about how. Oh, we're going to read it, actually. Sorry.
Acknowledging the power of it. And he said, for good, fix your stuff with your parents. Like, this is not, I don't want to be part of this.
would.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't agree.
Yeah.
There are some people that don't talk to some of their siblings anymore, which is not my case. I don't understand that. But I also am empathetic and sympathize with that situation because he said he had all this anxiety when he was a part of that family and the Beckham family, and now he doesn't have any anxiety at all. I kind of find that hard to believe because if my family weren't talking to me, I'd be really anxious, you know, I guess. But
I want to know, did they have anxiety when he was around? I mean, we just don't know the whole story about a marriage. And so all the adults in the room should look at that and say, how do we foster some goodness for the two of these young people? Because no matter how much money you...
At the end of the day, with this kid, it's about money.
Well, and about marriage on this, it's a new...
I think I want to marry you 'cause I'm missing more than just your body.
So the average cost of attending a wedding and a
Marcus.
I think it's important to still have whatever religious connection you want as part of the ceremony. You can do that in private.
Having, you know, family or really like treasures next to you. I think that's beautiful. But I like it small, and then it widens the group that can help out and be a part of it. So it's not so like.
Remember in your 20s and you're in.
But aren't you planning a wedding?
We're planning a wedding, and I would do a like just us wedding. I would just do like a small little, you know, just our children. But my daughter is 10, and we're trying to be good influences on what's the whole thing. But we will have a small wedding.
that.
Yeah, we'll have a small wedding. It'll be family, and just we're toning it down. At first, we were like, but don't you remember in your 20s you were in weddings, and then you had to show up like 8 hours before the wedding.
Yes.
Then you had to get hair and makeup. Then you had to stand
Now
up
you're
there.
making it stressful.
Yeah,
Stick to
we're
the
not
daughter
doing that.
story. I was with you the whole time.
We're not doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I would never do that to my friends, and the only people that be in the wedding are our children. That's it.
Yeah, I always wonder too if people get married. You've
50
been married more than
dresses,
once,
like
Martha.
the girl has like 50
27
bridesmaid
dresses.
27 dresses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie. So how did you handle it?
My first wedding was in a courthouse. I regretted it. My second wedding to my now wife was amazing, and it was a small wedding, but it was stressful because family had opinions, and should we be getting married? Should we not be getting married? It's worked out, thank God.
Yeah. Oh,
My
good.
parents were married in a courthouse 57 years.
Yeah, I need to meet them. I need some counsel.
My babysitter
Special.
said that she's in all these weddings, and she has to babysit on the side because she's a school teacher. And she said they have to, nowadays, she has to not only buy the bride a gift, she has to buy her a dress, and then she has to pay for
my
the
goodness.
bride's bachelorette trip and her bachelorette trip.
Wow.
No.
And they're in their 20s.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Espe-
The Fixer, hosted by Marcus Lemonis, will